Hey everybody, this is Nick Baldwin, and today I'm being joined by PFL lightweight Olivier Aubin-Mercier, who is set to take on Marcin Held at PFL 4 in a week from today on June 10th. Olivier, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing very well. I appreciate you taking the time. It's good to talk to you. It's been a while since we've seen you in the cage. It's coming up on 2 years. How excited are you to finally get back in there?
Well, I'm really excited. I think like everybody else, I had hard year, so it's good to be back. It's good to have a goal in life. So I'm really happy to be here. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you mentioned, it was a tough year for you. It was a tough year for a lot of people just with the COVID-19 pandemic. And I know you signed with PFL literally days before it really got serious. And it was just the worst timing looking back. How would you describe the past year and a half or so for you, personally, professionally, everything?
Oh shit! It was shit. But I think other people were worse than me. Some people died, so I'm pretty lucky that didn't happen in my family. But it's tough sometimes when you think that you have everything and then everything is take up. So I was really happy to get signed by PFL. I was looking forward to fight in PFL, and then I was going, I think, in Halifax to do a promotion for PFL, and then the COVID happened. Everything got cancelled. Personally, I was in Costa Rica to do a little vacation before doing my the fights and the tournament. So when that happened, I was on the plane coming back to Montreal when all the lockdown happened. So yeah, it was good because I had the last vacation, but the year after that was hard. But you know what? I was not one of the guy who did nothing during that year. I was training a lot. I think financially it was hard, but other than that, it was okay.
I actually did want to ask you about that briefly just because PFL suspended their season, or I guess canceled their season pretty soon into the pandemic. And of course, they didn't put on fights for the whole year, and now they're back. But it was a tough year in 2020. And there were some other promotions like UFC, Bellator, they came back a bit sooner, like in May of last year. So financially, like, how did you even get by? Just because all of a sudden you're not fighting for a whole year, and that's your livelihood, really.
Yeah, actually, it was 2 years.
Yeah.
Because my last fight was like a year before I got signed by PFL. But the PFL kind of helped me. For sure, it was not a lot. But I'm the kind of guy that don't use a lot of money. So I was able to put some money on the side during the year I was fighting. So I was good, but like in the last couple months was pretty hard. I think I used all my last money. I used it to go to Puerto Rico to do my training camp, and then I had to cancel that fight because I got hurt. So that
Right.
was tough. But now I'm here. I still have 7 days to survive. I think I'm gonna make it.
Yeah, no, we're getting close, so fingers crossed. Did you have to get a job like over the pandemic? Did you do some things on the side at all just to make a bit of extra cash?
I tried last summer to do some class to give some training in the park. But in Quebec, it's pretty hard. The rules were not really clear, so I was able to do that like private session in the park during the summer. But all winter, everything was canceled since it was not allowed. So it was pretty tough to get a job, especially since I was training 3 hours a day, and then the thing too, it's I'm honest to everybody. So when I was trying to get a job, I was just saying, yeah, I may quit tomorrow if PFL called me. Maybe it was not the best speech to have, but no, I did. Other than that, I didn't get a job.
I have to wonder, like last year. Now, right now, of course, you're happy. PFL's back. You're fighting in a week. Things are good. But last year, when the UFC started to come back, when Bellator started to come back, when almost all the promotions started to come back, except for PFL, what were you thinking? Were you thinking, why did I sign with PFL? What did I do? Like, did you feel any regret at all, even though it wasn't in your control at all?
I was jealous. Yeah, I was jealous, I would say, of other fighters. But at the same time, I mean, I signed with PFL. They were helping me financially a little bit.
Yeah.
For sure, I would have preferred they came back earlier, but I trust them, and well, they finally came back. Like if it was maybe it could have been earlier, but other than that, I mean, it's their decision. I mean, they are in control. It was not my place to say when or how, you know.
Yeah, I guess on a more of a positive note, the 2 years, of course, you wanted to be fighting, but what have you been able to sort of learn over this time off, and have you picked up some new skills in the gym? Like, what are the positives, or have you been able to find any positives of this time off?
Well, when you fight with the UFC, it's pretty tough because you fight every 3 or 4 months. It's pretty tough to get better. Um, with 2 years, it's a lot of time. So you can work on something that maybe you didn't have time before. So I worked on a lot of things during that time off. For sure, like I said before, and I repeat myself, I find in every interview. But in Quebec, it was pretty hard. We were not allowed to train with other people, so it was hard to learn new stuff, and try to practice them. But we worked it out, and yeah, for sure, I think I'm a better fighter right now than before.
Do you think, when we see you step in the cage next week against Marcin Held, like, are you going to be almost like a different guy, different fighter from the last time we saw you almost 2 years ago?
I wouldn't say a different guy. The stiffness is gonna be there, but I mean, I think I'm just gonna be an improved version.
Yeah. As you mentioned a few minutes ago, you were supposed to make your return to the cage in April, the first PFL card back, and unfortunately, you fell off that card due to an injury. What exactly happened?
Repeat myself again. It was not allowed in Quebec to train with other people. Um, so what I was doing it is I was going on YouTube. I was following this guy on YouTube, like extreme yoga. You know, extreme yoga. So it was like a yoga class, but really extreme. The guy's name was Fabia 69, and I was doing one of his class, doing like a move. It was pretty extreme, and then I kind of failed. I failed during the move he showed, and when I failed though, I was able to scream Namaste, just to show that I'm still a extreme yoga player. And then I failed. I hurt myself, and that's how it happened.
Wow. When you said Fabia, I thought for a second I thought you were going to say, or you were talking about Joshua Fabia, Diego Sanchez's coach. Of course, you're not different guy, but I was worried for
You
just a
thought I
second.
was going to say that?
Well, I mean, you said Fabia. I mean, I wasn't sure just for
Fabia
a second.
69. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like you may we may think it's the same guy. I don't think so. I don't think it's the same guy. But the technique that he's showing, it's a look alike.
Yeah. Well, so tell me, like, what is extreme yoga? Like, I'm personally, I don't do yoga. I certainly
Mhm.
don't do extreme yoga. What's it like?
Well, it's like yoga. It's really it's more slow, and you stay in the position. In extreme yoga, how can I describe that? Star Wars kid,
Which one?
the Star Wars kid. Like back in the day, there was this video of a guy doing like kind of a kata. It looked like a little bit of a kata, and it's kind of like a kata, you have to go really fast and you have to meditate at the same time to do. But the thing is, not all of the technique are legal in MMA. Some of them are lethal. You know, it's. I mean, it's called extreme yoga, not. It's not yoga. It's extreme. You know, it's
Right.
lethal. This thing is lethal.
Wow.
So I cannot use all of the technique I learned with Fabia 69.
with the lethal part, it's starting to sound more and more like Joshua Fabia because he has like his knife techniques and all the crazy stuff.
Well, let's just say when I saw the video of Diego hanging out, like his head and getting punched in the face, I was not surprised. I mean, I kind of did something like that, but without anybody, you know, and trying to meditate about getting punched. But yeah, this is extreme yoga. It's pretty extreme.
Yeah, no, it sounds extreme.
I may get sued too. Just telling you that, you know.
How come? You don't know? You just have a hunch?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully you don't get sued. That wouldn't be.
Yeah, good. I hope so too.
Let's talk about this fight with Marcin Held. He's coming off that win over the reigning champion Marcin Held back in April. What do you think about Marcin as an opponent, former UFC fighter as well? Do you like the matchup?
Yeah, I really like the matchup. I think it's on a little bit like an old school matchup. You know, I really think it's the best matchup of the card. I know who he is. He's a really good fighter, and he really impressed me in his last fights. And I was thinking of fighting him before that. I really thought I was going to fight him in the UFC, but it didn't happen. I really think as a matchmaker, it's a really great matchup. I think the PFL matchmaker did a great choice. I feel a little bit bad for Marcin. I think he's the one with the hardest path to the tournament. I mean, he just fought the two-time champion, and then he's fighting me. I think he's. I feel a little bit bad for him, but yeah, I really like the matchup. I think he's a great athlete. A tough matchup for a comeback, but I'm willing to for the challenge.
Did you watch his win over Marcin Held? And if so, what did you think about it?
Yeah, like I said, I was really impressed. His striking got better, man. It was atomic bomb after atomic bomb on Nathan. I think he did really, really good. I mean, it's always fun to watch Schultz, not Schultz, Marcin fight on the ground, but his last fight was only on the feet, and he looked really great. He really looked great. Those uppercuts were great. Those hooks were great. So I'm ready for a war.
And I just want to clarify, this is your only fight before the playoffs, right? Like, because of the injury, you're only getting one fight, one chance to get into the playoffs?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have one fight. And not only that, but I start with minus 1 point.
Oh, wow. Minus 1 point just because you have to pull out?
Just because I had to pull out.
Wow.
You should call PFL and say, no, this is no bueno.
Yeah, because I'm like, they would take away a point if you missed weight, which is fair, which I think makes sense, right? But if you get injured out of just by chance, I don't think you should lose anything. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'm 100% agreeing with you. I should have +1 actually.
Just a little boost to get you into the playoff.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, is it a tough situation just because, like, of course, you're fully confident you're going to go out there and beat Marcin Held. You're probably confident you're going to finish him, but you know, everyone else basically has 2 fights to get as many points, and you have 1. Like, is there more pressure on you going into just only 1 regular season matchup?
You know, like I said, it was a tough year, so my goal is just to fight. I mean, I just want to fight. I want to get in the cage again. That's it. I mean, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna win this fight. How it happen is gonna. I don't know. I just the only thing I want it's to win right now.
Is it almost like the chance of getting to the playoffs and the chance of winning the tournament in December is kind of just the bonus right now because you've been off for so long? You almost just care more about the fact that you can fight and not so much about what might happen after that. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's a bonus. I mean, I will need some luck to do the tournament. I won't lie about it. Even if I finish in the first round, which would mean 6 points. With 5 points, I don't think I can do the tournament unless a lot of people that won is gonna lose the next round. So it's gonna be tough, even though I win the first round.
Are you going to be going for the early finish, maybe more than you usually do, knowing what is at stake?
Yeah, for sure. If I see something, I'm gonna try to take it. Yeah.
All right. Just a couple more things before I let you go, Olivier. This is, of course, your first fight under the PFL banner. PFL's a much different organization than really any MMA organization, the UFC, Bellator, and so on. What is your favorite thing about their format overall?
It's a look-alike, little bit like the Olympics. I really like this concept. I was doing judo when I was younger. Was doing a lot of tournaments. They're kind of the same thing, but the fact that they're trying to take people from all over the world, I think it really helped the show. So I guess that's the main thing for me. I think it's. It's the equivalent. Is that the word? Yeah, of the Olympics for MMA.
Very cool. Last thing. This is going to be your first fight since you parted ways with the UFC a couple of years ago. Most people, most fighters coming up when they're prospects, the UFC is their main goal. They want to get to the UFC. But PFL is an interesting alternative just because of the $1 million that the winner gets at the end of the tournament. And we're seeing some fighters prefer the PFL over the UFC. Anthony Pettis left and so on. Do you want to get back to the UFC one day, or could you be satisfied fighting in the PFL and other organizations?
Yeah, I would be satisfied to just fight in PFL.
And why is that?
Well, it's not like back in the days, that one organization was UFC had everything, but well, there was pride at some point. But it's not the same thing. I think PFL in the coming years gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. I really believe in the concept of it. So I'm willing to stay in PFL until the end of my career.
All right, Olivier, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it, and best of luck to you next week.
Thank you, Nick.